All right, I guess I'm going live. This is my first time going live. So, what I'm going to do is just talk for a few minutes and I don't know, trust that it's working. I have a video uploading right now that will explain to you more of the introduction to this. And what this is my story, kind of. I guess I'm telling my story because I've been sick since October. And this is the second time that I've been made critically ill after I stopped participating in something that was benefiting, I don't know, the master class. I don't know. When I left the University of Massachusetts, within a week, a flock of birds appeared outside my window. I was in the top floor, a duplex townhouse in Meriden, Connecticut, and there was a sound in the roof. And within, I don't know, a day of that, I got what looked like an insect bite on the back of my leg. It looked like a spider bite, actually, but there were no spiders in this apartment. And if you saw that Obama movie, I forget what it's, Leave the World Behind, I think it's called, then you saw that person get a bite on their ankle before they got very sick. That it didn't look like an insect, it looked like static. Well, whatever entered my leg left a calcified sort of tunnel, kind of. If there were such a thing as a boring machine for the body that would create, a smooth surface, that was what it was like. And I'm not going to go into too much detail because it freaks people out. But let's put it this way. I was infected with Morgellons when I became useless to the master class. When I said, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to play anymore. Now, when I said I would leave Twitter, within a week, I went on a little longer than I announced it, and then I left. And within a week of that, I was infected with something really horrible. Now, I'm going to have to give you the background on things, okay? I'm an heiress. I'm entitled to a lot of land. I don't even know all of the wealth coming to me because for some reason the probate courts no longer contact heirs. They just make sure that European investors are able to buy up huge blocks of land that include the lands of American heirs like me. Well, I believe Morgellons disease was the beta test for an electromagnetic bioweapon that perhaps uses CRISPR technology to alter the DNA in a person. And I believe that the infrastructure is started before actual critters are implanted, hatched. I don't know exactly how to talk about this. And I'll tell you, it's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed to, have to talk about my health and parasites. You look at me, and I don't want you to see a person filled with bots and worms and Morgellons fibers, but that's what I am. Not so much anymore, because since October, I have been totally consumed with my health. This is what it's been like. It's been as if my body was turned into a city. And I think there's more than one creature existing within this city. But the city analogy is kind of the best one that I could think of because of all of the extractions of biological matter that doesn't belong to me that's in my body. I've made a lot of extractions. In fact, the day before yesterday, I was actually able to capture the thing that was in my ear. And it looks kind of like a shrimp, tiny little fuzzy shrimp with long flagella. And the flagella are what I was feeling in my ears. But you could also hear clicking. And if I put a magnet near my ear, well, they would react. If I put salt near my ear, it would burn the flesh. They had taken over my right ear. And I think it took me 6 weeks to eliminate them. Now there's only the CPU. I don't know how else to call it but a CPU. Okay? Because the way this disease works, as much as I can tell from having it and fighting it, is that years before you're actually activated, the infrastructure is built. I'll explain exactly what I mean. I used to have an eardrum. If I stuck a Q-tip in my ear, I used to hit an eardrum. Now, I don't have an eardrum. Now I have a tunnel. I have a tunnel from this ear that goes through my head, goes around my ear like a headphone. It goes through the back, crossing my pineal gland area, and then comes back up in this ear. When I drove the creature from this ear, I felt it travel to this ear. But in this ear, it didn't have what it needed to develop its weaponry. I'm not exactly sure how to explain all this. So I wanted to give the history, of like why I'm in this circumstance and everything, but that video is taking way too long to upload. And that's why I decided to go live here and explain it as best I can and just kind of take as long as it takes to get it done. And so this is what happened. I've been targeted. And at Yale University, it was my ambition to protect American culture, Black American culture specifically. I saw in the culture that people from other countries, specifically World War II refugees who had not been assimilated into the American belief system, that everyone, regardless of their race, has the right to advance based on their ability to achieve. They came in with the idea that there are master races and slave races. It's even in the religion. The religion promises the people no life after death and slaves, 10,000 slaves each, something like that. So it's actually a religious belief. And that's why we've had people in the sciences working so hard to create slave systems for us, in the sciences, in the politics, in the journalism, to create these slave systems for us. Well, as the ideological wars are ending, with social media exposing the lies and people being able to put 2 and 2 together for themselves, our enemies have come up with a way to actually take over our bodies and make us robots. And this includes mind control. Ask me how I know mind control is involved. Not just because of the crazy stuff that you can hear me talking about in my May Twitters, but also because of my experience fighting this disease. Now, it's my belief that Morgellons put the infrastructure into my body. It's my belief that there are new highways, pathways that have been constructed in my body through which this plasma being moves. Now, this was my theory even before I found that on YouTube there are artists that have created frequencies that specifically say this frequency will remove archon energy thieves. And they work. I'll tell you, they work. I relied on those heavily to give me relief from the itching because there were tap dancing in my head. So let me explain how it became activated, okay? Because it was dormant. The way that the progress of defeating the disease, it's almost dead. But the process that I've had to go through has been like war. It's been like I have had to fight one individual parasite after another. And this is true. So it's a very complex system, and that's why I call it a city. And it has created roads inside of me. How do I know this? Well, I first started to realize this when I used the intelligent cupping device. And with the intelligent cupping device, there were parts in my body where a clear fluid would come up. Mostly on one side of my body. A clear fluid would come up. And it was funny to me because it would blister, but no blood. And that reminded me that at some point after I knew I had been infected, as a targeted individual, when I became useless, when I said, hey, I'm not going to work for you guys anymore, when I became useless and they made me a targeted individual, they infected me within a week. And I noticed the symptoms. And I did a lot of research, okay? The medical industry treated it as a mental disease, and they were extremely abusive to me multiple times. And I was married to a doctor before this happened, so I know the indoctrination that the medical community has gone through, and I have seen them change their selection process to be sure that they have people that will follow their agenda. And I've seen hospitals like Northwestern Memorial Hospital get the name of individuals in the religion of World War II refugees. Now, these World War II refugees had entered television production and movie making and had kind of taken over the culture. They were the book publishers. They were the journalists on TV. They were the broadcasters. They were the NPR, National Public Radio correspondents. They were the PBS, Public Broadcast System correspondents. They were the professors in the university. You see? So when they came over from World War II, they entered a strata of society above Americans like me, heiresses like me. And because my land, especially in Oklahoma and North Carolina, my North Carolina land, rich tobacco growing land. My land in Oklahoma, oil and gas land. In fact, I saw a capped oil well. Oh, someone's at my door. Who is it?
It is.
Oh, just a minute. I'm going to have to go.